here with Josh and Sam. We're going to be going through things rapid fire. Guys, the number one topic right now is NVIDIA's earnings. Under an hour ago, just about an hour ago, NVIDIA came out with earnings. Big, I would say decent size, fairly big size beat on what Wall Street had expected. Nvidia is now up about 3% after hours. It looks like the party will be continuing. The market is not dumping as of this moment. What do you guys think?
Yeah, man. This was like a huge kind of fork in the road. I think right now, I definitely could have foreseen if there was an Nvidia miss that the entirety of the market would probably be down maybe 2%, maybe 2.5% on that reaction. But I think this is actually very, very good news for the long-term bull case because we are finally seeing some, actual fundamental evidence of continuous growth, and people thought that they maxed out. I mean, look, all the analysts, I really don't even understand why analysts still have a job because they basically just they're like the weathermen, but after it rains already. So it's like, oh yeah, it rained yesterday. I mean, but it might rain again, but so at that point, they all obviously raised their price targets now on Nvidia. So I think that this is very good for AI. I think this is very, very good for everything tech. So if you have any risk on assets, it would be a great time. I mean, me and Ben went into this more on the DGen Download podcast, where if rapid inflation looks like it's here to stay, it doesn't there's no turning around at this point. Well, that's the state of the world we're in. What do you think about the earnings, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for the future of the company. Jensen's definitely a G, bringing
Mm,
this company in the right direction with AI, and everyone's super excited. Yeah, like I agree with the analyst things. It's just like, bro, like I don't know. Like, I've heard so much negativity. Actually, probably like 80-20 negativity versus positivity going into earnings that they were gonna like miss it and like
tank the
this and
market,
that.
yeah.
And just because I heard all that, I was going into it like, oh my god, I think they're gonna do well, because
Yeah.
literally the opposite happens.
It's
So yeah, I mean, all these people online and what it's just a bunch of nonsense. You got to think about the forward PE versus like Nvidia's PE versus like Walmart and all these other companies. It's so much lower than
like a
those other
Wingstop
companies,
or
and
like a Carvana or something.
Carvana or whatever, Wingstop. Yeah,
Come on,
exactly. And
Carvana.
they're making all this
Carvana's out
money.
of control.
Yeah, like you saw their top line and bottom line today, and they're making a ton of money. Their data center money's going up. Their gaming revenue went up to like 1 billion, I believe, which is everything is just trending in the right direction for them, and not including where the company's gonna take us in the next few years with all this AI hype. So
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow,
again,
look, it's up 4% now. It was up. Wow, it was up. Listen,
I
what
think
are
it hit
the?
like 6% after hours.
Yeah, I mean, and look, right now it's only at a 25x PS valuation,
25,
price
25.
to.
What? That's PS is price of sales. P is price. I mean, you have to look at the forward ones, but yeah, I mean, listen, guys, like Nvidia is not that overvalued. I think it used to be. Now it's actually kind of fairly valued. The only issue is the demand going to continue? Are companies like Microsoft, Apple, all these big giants going to need to constantly keep buying chips? And I think the answer is probably yes. I can't predict exactly how much, although I'll probably do a better
It's.
estimate
I
than
don't think that they're gonna
but
stop buying. I think
but
that they're in the talks of building their own in-house chips currently. So that's the main. I would say that would be probably the biggest threat to Nvidia. Like if Microsoft, made a crazy development in chip where they wouldn't need to buy from, they wouldn't need to go through another source, and that's like a large chunk of their core business, along with Amazon, I believe, as well. So, um, listen, there's some risk, but I think there's so much more upside any possible
Yeah,
downside.
I don't think there's a ton of upside for Nvidia right now. Like, I would not be buying Nvidia at this price. We bought a little bit down in like that mid to high 80s, which I think was
Oh, that was a bro. Though you see, and
was an
it's
easy buy.
looking back to
Easy buy.
those like a month ago. We're looking
Trust
at
me.
1 month ago to now. You would be up. What is that? seventy
Yeah,
percent?
I bought Nvidia like a couple years ago during the lows before pre-split or whatever. When I bought Nvidia again, it was in the 90s again during the crash a month ago. I am currently up 40% on that crash
Yep.
on just Nvidia. I don't want to talk
Yeah.
about the other stocks because that's like
Take it
Hims,
easy.
Hims, Elf, and like all those other stocks. I'm up like, you
Yeah.
know, dramatically. But um, with demand, I mean, we've seen ChatGPT like bring in millions of users in the past month. You've seen Gemini and all these other, these other AI platforms that they're competing. Gemini, XAI. We're going to
Grok.
see more from
Yeah.
other countries. Yeah, Grok. We're going to see more from other companies, right? And who are they going to flood to? Nvidia, the best company out there, right? So I mean, hopefully AMD gets some demand, but um,
Yeah. We need some
that's
love
for
for
a different
AMD.
conversation.
Got a much bigger bag in AMD than we
Yeah,
do in
yeah, I have a much
I think it's listen, as
Wait,
long as
no, I
the
don't. Speak
there
for yourselves, boys. I have a wait like a 20 times bigger position in friggin' Nvidia than I
or
do
you're
in.
about to be
no.
broken
I have a
on
bigger bag in Nvidia right now, but I'm saying I'm set up for AMD for like the future for the next
I just
couple
been
years.
buying AMD. I feel like I just been buying a lot at a bunch of different prices. You know, it really did go pretty low. I mean,
yeah.
but I do think that it does have a lot of room to grow. AMD over time. It just needs it needs to hit like a catalyst, something that really just
Yeah.
starts projecting it, and something that just sets it off to the right direction. Where I mean, look, it's very hard to tell where the markets are going. I mean, it's kind of at this point, today was an absolute coin flip. Like I said, if Nvidia would have, that would have come, we would have been. I mean, maybe our sentiment wouldn't have changed, but the timeline, the you know you
I mean,
the same
guys,
exact analyst would have told you that's it. The bubble is
let's
bursting. The get out of Nvidia. The bubble is bursting. That's what they would have
I
told you.
mean, look,
So,
the Nvidia beat earnings. S&P is down 0.36%
what about
today.
what about Nasdaq
Um,
and
let's take a look at QQQ real quick. QQQ is down. QQQ is actually up after hours, because of that. So it's up
Yeah, point five.
0.55% after hours. But these are not big reactions. I mean, again,
but I'm
the
saying
market
that it would have been an
performance.
overreaction
It
for
would
a
have been. It
down
would have been a big
for a
downside. 2, 3. It would have probably been like a 2%, maybe 1.5% in S&P, and then maybe like 2.5, 3% in the Nasdaq. And like, I don't even know if that would have been an overreaction because the markets are almost back to all-time highs. Like, we see dumps quickly, and then we see gradual increases to the point where like the stock market dumps 3%, 4%, 5%, bam, 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 everyone's panicking, and then over the next like 2, 3 weeks, we got 0.5% days, 1% days, and that stuff adds up into a 15, 18% difference. So, the markets are what they are. Here where we're still looking for high quality, good companies. I've been honestly kind of closing out some of my long dated call options. Not all of them, but I'm closing some of them out. I closed down another Victoria's Secret position today. It retraced a little bit, so it hit some of my stop losses. I want to I move up my stop losses now. I think I locked that one in for like a 200% profit. I was at like 350%, 350% at one point, so didn't want to have it stop out and anywhere near negative. But I am getting closer to the point where I'm like, listen, I don't know if I'm going to be super, super bullish once we hit all-time highs. Like, we're probably going to go higher, but are we going to go 50% higher? I don't think so. Not in like the next 5, 10 years. Not in the next 5 years, 3, 4 years, in my opinion.
well, I think that also has a lot to do with inflation. I mean, if inflation gets ripping out of control, we could see higher highs, but we're not seeing real higher highs. You
Well,
understand?
nominal. Yep,
Because
exactly.
yeah, because the value is being debased. You understand? It's
Yep.
like I feel like that's a concept a lot of people just don't grasp. Like a lot of people say, "Well, I bought my house in 1990, and then well, yes, there was some appreciation. There should be some normal appreciation, but the reason why you've seen a 5x appreciation over a span of 25 years is because there was and especially recently, like when people are talking about, oh man, I could have bought this house pre-COVID for blah blah blah. It wasn't because COVID turned us into a magical land of expensive houses. It's because we printed trillions and trillions of dollars, and like Ben alludes to a lot, I would say half of that money was probably just not used correctly. Let's just leave it at that. I don't want to say fraud. I don't want to say, I don't want to get into the weeds and the thick of it. But I would say that it wasn't properly managed. So our currency is going to continue, and even with Trump now, listen, the bill is gonna it's gonna the deficit is gonna raise, and I don't see him. I hope he's. I mean, listen, it seems like he's playing chess at this point, but it's just giving the opposition a lot of ammo right now because I'm hearing what they're saying, and it's tough to support someone when you kind of agree with the sentiments that the opposition is saying. So that's where I'm standing currently.
I don't know if you saw he had like a speech today. I saw like a quick clip on it, but he was like, "Oh, I had no clue." He was like, "I had no clue we were at 145% with China. Yeah, I thought that was way too high. I brought that down." This guy's so sporadic. It's like you don't know what's gonna come out of his mouth,
Bro,
but it's
I
pretty
I
funny.
literally brought up that exact point. I said he's got the mob boss. Like I don't know what happened. He
Yeah, I
died.
don't
Oh,
really
I
know
don't
what's going
know.
on. Yeah.
Hey, murder. He
But
was
it
the
is kind
good
of funny at this
guy.
point because we kind of like we saw that huge dip with the China tariffs and everyone was freaking out and that was like the greatest buying opportunity. And then recently with the European Union 50% tariff, nobody really fell for that because we're just like, ah, like he's probably gonna reverse it. And then look at that, like he delayed it until like July or something like that. So these are all for negotiation. I think overall there's just a lot of like speculation when tariffs are all said and done and he's kind of just has his final percentage for all these countries. I think we're gonna see all-time highs again. We might see all-time highs before that even happens because we're almost there already. But yeah, like with Ben, I'm not really looking to buy anything else right now. I kind of have all my bags packed, just waiting for that ride up. All my bags that I like, Elf, Hims. Elf is I'm up 75% on that dip buy. I don't know if you just saw they bought
Yeah, they acquired
Haley
Road.
Bieber's,
Yeah,
which
they
is only
Yeah,
like
acquired.
a
they bought
3-year-old company, which is
Rose,
insane.
Haley Bieber's company.
Because can I just say something? I
Haley
feel like
Bieber.
I feel like we don't understand. Like, I feel like the male brain can't understand that if you walked into a woman's bathroom or wherever they keep their makeup, their makeup drawers, there's like a a Rolex or two there. Like people don't understand. This cream, $150. It's this fucking big. This cream, no, my palette.
Yeah, it's a scam.
And the craziest part is the girls who don't wear makeup never suffer from skin conditions, never suffer from blemishes. They don't need to do facials. They don't need to do. It's all like I'm gonna create a problem. I'm gonna paint you up with chemicals. I'm gonna paint you up with chemicals, and then guess what happens? The chemicals fuck up your face. Here, let me stick needles in your face to fix it. And
Yeah.
women are, I'm so sorry, but women, when it comes to looks, they're on the basis of like children. You know what I mean? So they don't care. They'll literally stick they'll needles in their face over and over and over and over for
Wait, so
hours.
what's the point of where were you getting at here?
The point is, they're spending an ungodly amount of money, like more money than you probably spend on your wardrobe. Like it's these industries, like
Oh
I
yeah,
feel
of
like,
course. But what makes
and it's
Elf
all
what makes
it's
Elf
all
so good is that they're really profitable, making all this money, and Elf is a very cheap company. Like they were
Yeah.
first found in CVS and
yeah.
pharmaceutical.
Yeah, so Elf is like
Basically.
the cheap products, like but cheap in the sense that like yeah maybe 10
Cheap
12
but good. Like
bucks.
it's affordable,
Yeah, it's 10 12
inexpensive,
Yeah.
not
15
really
bucks,
cheap.
but it's like but like they have really nice profit margins on that. So listen, I agree with a good amount of what Sam was saying. I think I hope the makeup stuff dies eventually, but it won't. So
Oh, it
that's
won't
why
die.
I've
Yeah,
invested
it'll
in
never
Ulta,
die.
I've invested in Elf, I've invested in Estee Lauder. So I if it dies, that's good. It's good for the society, and if it doesn't, it's good for my bag. So I win either way,
No, I
unfortunately.
agree with Sam saying, and I'm with that, but at the same time, it's cosmetics is never gonna die. I mean, girls are,
No, I
they're
don't think.
always
No,
buying
I
that.
Yeah,
wasn't
and it
saying
shows,
it.
and it just shows, that how powerful some of these like really influential people are. Like Hailey Bieber, I'll be real. I don't know if she's an actress or a model. I don't know what she does. I know she's
It's a
Alec
model.
Baldwin's daughter, right, and Justin Bieber's wife. But the name recognition is insane, and when you have the name recognition, I mean, hey, you can run up a serious business. And that's kind of who you're competing against, like a lot of people are starting their own like little business, and it's like, hey, a lot of you guys, if you're trying to be a big player in the space, or you're competing against people like Haley Bieber, and obviously there's enough to go around in most industries. But it is interesting to see that. Long-term bullish on Elf, but we'll have to see what happens. I mean, last thing before we jump off, we can go around the horn. Any other particular company you guys are eyeing in terms of a value perspective? Let me know your thoughts. We can start with you, Jeffrey.
Ben, I was looking at Oscar Health. I know you bought some of that. I was looking at that. I want you to. I would love to get your thoughts on that, and yeah, I'll like to get your thoughts on that first before we get into anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just did some very basic reasoning, basic research on Oscar.
Yeah.
I'm getting not him's vibes, but I am getting vibes that there's something there that I know that the healthcare system there's major problems there, right? And things are being moved online, things are being moved to kind of like different kinds of ways people are doing their insurance or getting their pharmaceuticals, all that kind of stuff. So I am generally just bullish on those new types of providers, especially with the sentiment for like things like UNH being so negative. So I don't even, I mean, from a value perspective, I think Oscar has a lot of revenue growth. It's not profitable yet. I think it's getting there. I think it's a reasonable valuation. I just think that if things align for it, it could grow into a much more significant player. I think it's at like 3.5 billion right now in market cap. So there's, again, insurance is a great business if done right. So yeah, I
Yep.
think I think it's an interesting one. I'm going to be learning more and more about it, but I do like it on these significant dips. Like I bought a little bit more today. So I think it's an interesting one. I don't know everything about it yet, but I do like the direction it's heading in. I think it has kind of like a limited floor and a much higher ceiling than a lot of other companies.
Yeah. I'm looking at. Yeah, that's a good point. I'll look into it a little bit more. I'm also looking into Rocket Lab. I know we've been talking about that. That company just keeps going up. I don't know what's going on there, but that's
Yeah, I never
one.
finished. I bought a good amount, but I never finished accumulating my position, and now it's up like 30% in like 2 weeks. So,
Yeah.
and like good problems to have, I guess. But it's I wish I would have got my full bags loaded.
And then my last company that I highly regret not buying, and my thesis was kind of off, was Robinhood down in the 30s. I didn't want to have another. I didn't want more crypto exposure. I saw a lot of customers on Robinhood was holding a lot of crypto, and that's what drove the price up a lot. But the whole company is so innovative, and I love what they're doing. I feel like every week we hear something else, like some new feature or whatever it may be, or gamification with Robinhood. Um, I am super excited for that company, but I don't even have a position, and I am waiting for something. I'm waiting for some type of blowback, hopefully, so I can start accumulating. But I mean, I might miss the train on this one, but I won't be too sad about it because of, I already took a lot of positions during that huge crash during the China tariff scare. So
Yeah, Sam, you wanna wrap us up here?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I really haven't been buying anything besides what we've been speaking about the last couple, since the big dip. I'm just waiting. Right now, I'm just trying to accumulate cash just in case there is a play. That's what I'm doing currently.
Yeah.
All right,
I
sounds good. Yeah, I mean, I'm stacking more cash than buying anything right now. I'm definitely
Yeah.
selling as I'm buying certain things. So, I think it is good to increase cash positions right now. And yeah, I mean that's it, guys. Another episode in the books. Hope you all are enjoying, and we will be catching you all next week. For myself, Sam, Josh, see ya.
yeah.
Take care.
Bye. All right.